Hi there, this is Doris Benter of Library Arts, and today I'm so happy to welcome you to our Yayoi Kusama flower-themed sculpture project. This is so fun and so easy to create because you're going to use simple materials like a paper plate, some peel and stick foam, some markers, some gems, beads, cup, and florist foam and moss. So we'll go ahead and get started by going over the materials again in better detail and introducing you to this artist, Yayoi Kusama, a Japanese artist, in the next video, and then we'll get started making the craft together, and I think you're going to enjoy it. See you soon. Before we start today, I want you to get a little bit more familiar with the artist we're going to be focusing on for our flower sculptures, and that is the artist Yayoi Kusama. She's a Japanese artist. She's still alive. She's currently actually in her 90s, living in Japan. And her work is really playful, interesting, and exciting. You'll see, just like what she's wearing here, she loves dots. She loves pattern. You'll see the pattern even in her beautiful floral pictures here. Here's another picture of her with her pumpkin sculptures. And even the clothing and fabric you see here was designed by the artist. She is very focused on patterns in a very intentional way. And we're gonna play with some of those fun patterns as we create our 3D flower sculptures today. So let's go over the materials so we can start our project. You're going to have materials including the following. You should have a cup that has, do you recognize this? This is florist foam in it. So that's going to be stuck in your cup and you're going to want to keep it there. You're going to have a wooden dowel, which is going to be the stem for your flower. You're going to have a plate with a flower shape drawn onto it. We're going to be adding color to that. You're going to have a green pipe cleaner, which we're going to wrap around the stem of your flower later on. You're going to have a bag with a lot of different materials in it. Let's see what we have here. We have some glue and a craft stick, so we can apply that glue. We have some foam shapes that are going to form like an eye with a button for the pupil. We have a lot of fun felt shapes, beads that you can see here, and gems. So those are all going to be decorative elements. And you're going to have some moss that we'll use to put around the base of your flower at the end of the project. So now that we've gone over the supplies and you've checked that you have them, there's a couple extra things you should have, if possible. A black marker would be really helpful. If you want to have some other colors, you can too. And a pair of scissors. These are things that will definitely be helpful in making your project. And finally, a little bit of tape. It could be masking tape, scotch tape, clear tape. Those are just some extra things you probably have at home. A little tape, black marker, and some scissors. Now, in the next video, we'll get started with decorating the flower and move on from there. So I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. So just taking a look at one of her still life drawings of flowers. She loves bright colors and she also loves pattern inside the colors. So when you think about coloring your flower, and I would think about using some bright, bold colors too. So I'm going to start with a pink, and I'm going to add this kind of corally pink outline inside my picture of my flower petals. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in that border so it has kind of a nice orange pink coral tone. And I'm just going to spend a few minutes coloring that in. And I'm going to decide what I want to do inside of that. I might want to do a different color, like use this for the border, maybe add a few patterns in. I have to see as I go along. And one of the ways you can do that is to think about the color in your eye shape that I gave you, because you're going to want to think about colors that'll go with that. So I personally know that I have a gold iris, a gold circle with a red eye shape and a black button, as I said, for the pupil. So I can think about, what color would really show off the gold and the red? So I can pull that out of my bag right here and say, okay, it's gonna look like that. Well, I do like the way this color is looking with that, so I have to think what would be a cool color to put inside this remaining white area. Maybe I want to do something fun, like a bright blue. That would look really cool, or a green. So I'm going to go ahead and color this outline. And when I come back, not only am I going to have that finished, I will work on the inside shape, and then we'll talk about applying these pieces. So go ahead and color your flower, whether you want to color the whole thing one color, or you want to make it layered colors like I'm doing. You decide. And when you come back for the next video, this part will be done, and I'll be finishing up whatever I decide to do for the inside color. See you in a minute. Have fun with your markers. Did you get your flower colored in? So I decided to go with a lavender with my red, and I left the center empty. Why is that? Because I know that I'm going to be covering that up with my gold peel and stick shape. So I'm not going to worry about that. But just for my own interest, I'm going to go ahead and outline the flower shape. So I'm going to go in here and just around my peachy red color, I'm going to outline that in black. Now I'm not going to do the edges, and I'll tell you why, because we're going to be cutting this out next. So you don't have to do this. This is a choice. You may have already started putting patterns on your flower. Maybe you got interested in adding polka dots. We do have some shapes that we can add for that later, but I'm not going to do that. But one of the things I'm going to do after I finish my outlining here is I'm going to go in and add some details to go around the inside of, the exterior of this. So what I'm going to do is finish my tracing here. Almost done. Just makes that red pop a little bit more. And it doesn't really matter what color you choose to do, as long as the colors you picked you like. That's all that matters. Okay, now we're going to have this gold here, but I really love the edges on the center of the flowers that Kusama adds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some black stripes going inside underneath the gold shape I'm going to put down. Now I'm going to put a few in with my black marker just on the petals, because remember, this is going to be cut off, so I'm not sure I want to put them anywhere else, but I'll find that out in a minute, because once I put the gold shape on, I'll find out if I feel like, oh, I need another one, or I want another one, or I want a little overlapping. We'll see very shortly where that is. Okay, so I got these black petals. Now I can put this here and say, oh, I kind of like that. Or maybe I need to bring it in a little bit more here. Maybe I'm thinking I'd like to do some petals also coming into the red to continue it. So I'm going to do that, and that's just a choice again that I've decided to do. And maybe bring the black in just a bit more here so there's no hint of a problem with overlapping or things showing that I didn't want to show when I'm done. So I'm going to put a few more here. Short one there. Bring that black in a little bit more. So again, I'm not coloring the center. Oops, one more area. But I do want my black to be covered, the black that I'm putting in now. So let's see how it looks. Perfect, that's what I wanted. So if you want to add that detail, go ahead. And then I want you to take your scissors and cut out the shape of your flower. And this way, if you went outside of the lines a little bit, it's not going to show at all because you're going to be trimming that off. So go ahead and cut out your flower and meet me back here so we can add some more details before we move on to the stem and the flower pot. Okay, have fun. See you in a few minutes. Okay, so your flower is cut out, decorated. You are ready to move on to attaching things to make this Kusama flower come alive. So let's get out that bag of decorative supplies. Let's get your glue, because you're going to need that in a minute, and your craft stick. But first of all, let's take care of that eye. So we're going to just peel the paper off the back of the metallic eye, whatever color you got. Some of you got silver, some of you got gold. Press that down. Now, Kusama loves this eye shape. It shows up in a lot of her projects. So I wanted to make sure we included an eye shape. That too should be peel and stick it down where you want. Now there is a black button included in each bag, and that black button is going to be the pupil for your eye. So once you find your button, take a little bit of the glue. The glue's a little bit drippy, so I always like to just wipe it on the tip. I put a dot of glue here. You don't need too much, and the glue will dry clear, so don't worry about that. Right there. That's the main part. Now, here's where you can have some fun. You might want to glue some shapes down. I have circles, which she's very well known for, so you might want to take the circles, the hearts, maybe you want to alternate them, maybe you want to do something different. You decide. I have triangles in here. You can decide what you want to do. I personally like the circles, so I'm going to stick with circles on top of each petal. And she's very orderly, I find, with her work, but, oh, here's a red one. I'll do another red one right here. So I'm going to put these circles down, and then these are not peel and stick, so I'm going to be just using a little bit of glue on each one. And they don't all have to be in the same place. Maybe I'll make one a little higher, make one go over here. I don't think they should all be perfectly centered, because I think that makes it a little too symmetrical. So I'm going to make them a little bit different like that. But then I'm going to have some fun, I think, not with the beads. I'm going to save the beads for the stem, but I might want to put some gems inside my circle shapes with a little bit of glue, like that. I may even want to put more than one. Let me find some more gems. Here's one. I'll put this pink one, not even on the circle, but just sort of near the circle. And this one will go on the circle, and it's not even a circle. It's more like a leaf shape. So find your gems, put them where you want them to go. You get to decide, because it's your project. And then I want you to, finish decorating it any way you like. And then I want you to set it aside a minute so that we can explore working on the stem. So I'm going to put another gem here. And then maybe I'll look for a larger gem. I might even like to put a diamond in there for a difference, you know, so that it's not all the same. I think I'm going to put a diamond shape inside that red one. And a few more gems here and there. Once you get your flower to where you like it, I want you to set it aside and we'll work on the pot and the stem. So have fun decorating and I'll see you in a few minutes. We're back. So at this point, hopefully your flower is cut out, decorated with as many felt and gem pieces as you want. Your pupil is in place, and we have this really great flower that I think would stand up to one of Kusama's flowers for sure. So let's put that aside. Now we're going to work on the stem. You're going to need your pipe cleaner and your beads. So what we're going to do is make a fun decorative stem by simply stringing beads onto your pipe cleaner. Now I find this very relaxing. A lot of kids I work with really enjoy this. So once you get your first bead on, just loop that little bit of pipe cleaner around the bead so your beads don't fall off. Doesn't have to be a tight loop. And then I want you to just put as many beads as you want on here, stringing them along until you have a fun design. You can make a pattern if you want. You can do random like I'm doing. And then when you get to the top, I want you to leave a little bit of extra pipe cleaner without any beads on it so that we have that to attach to your flower. So go ahead and start adding beads to your pipe cleaner, and when you get back, we'll attach that pipe cleaner around your wooden dowel and turn it into the stem of your flower. Okay? Have fun with your beads. I'll see you soon. We're back with your completed stem. All the beads should be on now, and you should have a little length, about 1 inch of pipe cleaner on the end, and the other end is twisted around the first bead. So you're going to need your wooden dowel and some tape. And what we're going to do is just near the top of the dowel, wrap that little bit of pipe cleaner that you have around the top and secure it with a piece of tape. So I'm just going to wrap this tape as tightly as I can around the pipe cleaner so it looks kind of like a fishing pole now, but we're going to change that because we're going to now take the beads and slowly wrap around the wooden pole. So you have this beautiful line of pattern and color going up and down the pole. Now I'm going to take that little bit of pipe cleaner that was used to hold on the beads, and I'm going to use a little tape, just unwrapped. It's even a smaller piece in the top, and I'm going to use a little bit of tape just again to secure it onto the wooden dowel so it doesn't come off. Great. Now we're going to put that stem aside for a moment, and we're going to get out your cup. So we're going to be putting some moss and glue on that momentarily, but we do need to attach your flower to your stem. So put the cup up here because we're going to need that shortly. We need to put your Kusama flower onto the top of your stem. So flip the flower upside down. Should be dry by now. You've had a while for it to be drying. More tape is just going to be used to attach the flower to the back. You could even put paper over it and tape it down that way, but I'm thinking that this will hold it pretty securely, and yes, it does. I'm picking it up. It's not moving anywhere. I might just put one extra piece of tape just to make really sure that it's secured. It is. Now I can pick it up. My eye is at an angle, but I kind of like that, so I'm going to leave it. So with the flower ready, have your cup nearby. In the next video, we're going to talk about finishing up the cup by adding the flower, planting it, if you will, adding our moss with some glue, and then we'll be finishing up the project. So go ahead and get your stem completed and attached to your flower form, and I'll see you soon. We're ready to plant our Kusama flower into our red cup, or whatever color cup you have. So we already have florist foam, and you know, it's so fun. People want to stick their fingers at these little dents in it when you push on it because it's so soft. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that remaining glue that you have, and we're going to put some glue all over the top of that florist foam, and maybe even around the edges of the cup. This way, any extra moss will stick to the edges of the cup if it's not already sticking on the foam. So just spread it around. I'm gonna pull this up just a little bit higher. I'm going to get my little bag of moss out. This is a dried moss, but it's often used for decorative purposes, for flowers, and even live plants, living plants. So not just decorative plants, but living plants too. So I'm just gonna try to tuck it into any spaces around the moss and then put a little bit more on top there. So it looks like a nice grassy surface. We're gonna move this out of the way for a minute. Get all that moss off. Now, we're simply going to take the longer end of your Kusama stem. Remember, there's a longer end. The shorter end is already attached to the flower on the back that we did a few minutes ago. And right in the middle of that flower foam, I want you to stick your Kusama flower. So you end up with a cup and a flower like this. And it will stand independently. So I'm just putting it right on my table there, and you can see it stands independently. It makes a beautiful Kusama themed project. It also makes an awesome Mother's Day project or special Person's Day project of your choice. So I'm so glad you joined me today. This is Doris Benter of Library Arts. I hope I see you again soon in the future for another art project. In the meantime, stay safe, stay creative, and I'll see you soon.